Next up, the leader of Mandy's Candy Conquerors, one of our amazing merchies, Miss Amanda France.
So before I start my CNI story, I just wanted to take a second and thank two of the ladies that are here who have really made this weekend possible for me. So I want to give a shout out to Lee Morlock and Joyce King, You can't are words that I have heard for most of my life, and are words that the reason I named my team the Candy Conquerors, because I believe that with hard work and perseverance and faith, you can conquer all things. A quote that was really meaningful to me and that I wanted to start with is by a young woman named Tiana, and she was the Miss You Can Do It in 2012. Miss You Can Do It is a pageant for people with disabilities. And she said, the meaning of being disabled is not having any power, but I have the power to do anything I am willing to try. That makes me able. And that's a quote that I have lived by for several years now. In 2014, I was working as an advocate at a Christian camp program, and they were funded completely by donations. I went on maternity leave, and while I was having my baby, I got a phone call that the organization was in a severe financial crisis and that they were doing big layoffs. I wasn't one of the people who got laid off at the time, but a lot of the leadership changes there came along with a lot of vision changes that I no longer agreed with, and I knew that it was time for me to find another job. Finding work as a person with the limitations that I have is often very difficult, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do. My son was 6 months old, and we had decided prior to my son being born that my husband would be a stay-at-home dad, and he would take care of my baby. So I was like the breadwinner, so it was urgent for me to find work. One late night on Facebook, I came across Chloe and Isabel, and I was like, oh, let me check it out. Desperate times call for desperate measures. I'll sell some stuff. I was not a jewelry person. I got my ears pierced when I was 15, very late, and pretty much wore the same earrings up until I found Chloe and Isabel. So jewelry wasn't my thing, but I was like, I really need some money. So I clicked on the ad and applied to be a merchandiser, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. That was in September of 2014, and in November, I was kind of forced to leave my job because they were no longer able to pay me, and so all I had was Chloe and Isabel. And at the time, my mentor and MM, Val Laramie, talked to me and said, we can do this. We can make it work for you. And I was like, I live in New York City in a super low income area with people who are not super on fashion, trendy. I don't know all these fashionable people. So I don't know how I'm gonna make this work. But I did. I had a pop-up, and I had 4 people attend, but I made over $400 in sales with just 4 people, so I was super proud of that. But my fast start was rough, so I barely met any of my fast start milestones. But again, I did not want to give up. I got to a place where it wasn't just about the money, it was about proving that I was going to do this. I didn't have my family support. My mom was like, really? You have a baby and you're going to sell jewelry? Okay. So it was important to me to prove myself, to prove to myself and to my family that I didn't just waste our last $200. So I continued trying to get pop-ups and do all of these things, and I attended Flock. I don't know how many of you were around for Flock, but it was a Flock tour. It was similar to this, much, much smaller. It was a tour, and a bunch of the people from the corporate office went around the country and gave amazing workshops and trainings like we've had over this weekend. And Mallory did a presentation on personal branding, and that presentation changed my world. She talked about needing to know who you are and really the business being about you. So I started to think, well, who am I? my business, and how am I going to present who I am in my CNI business? So I started to think, I really want to empower people, and I believe that's what this company was about, empowering people, empowering women in particular, but people in general. And so I started reaching out to my friends who also had disabilities, and I said, listen, you guys need to have a voice, and I have a platform here that is going to give you a voice to show people that you are beautiful. And we are not just going to redefine the face of beauty, but we are going to reveal what true beauty is. And it's not in who you are physically, but it's in who you are as a person. And I really wanted everyone to see that. So I started asking them to order any piece on my boutique. I told them it could be a pair of studs, it could be like the most affordable piece on there, and to send me a picture of themselves. And I started a blog, and I started featuring my friends' stories, their accomplishments, their struggles. And I gave these women a voice, and all of a sudden, people started reaching out to me because they wanted their story told. And so this idea of storytelling is so, so powerful. So I wound up being able to meet all the qualifications for MM, which I never thought. I literally thought I was going to do this for a couple months until I found another job, and then I was going to let it go. But then the whole MM thing started to stay in my mind, and I was like, oh, I can do this. I want to do this. And if I can have success in the community that I'm in with the limitations that I have, then I can show other people how to do this. And so I met the requirements, and I became an MM in September 2015. And like I said, I named my team the Candy Conquerors because for me, there is no obstacle that my team cannot face. And they have proven that time and time again. Some of our great accomplishments is that we were the #2 team for 2 consecutive months, almost immediately when I started. And I never thought that was possible for me. Being here in front of everyone is such a huge, huge deal for someone like me, and I would love to share my full entire story with you someday. But my why has stayed the same, and it is the little guy that runs around here with the long curly hair. He is the apple of my eye, and he continues to be the reason that when I have those slow months and I have those, I don't know if I can do this, I'm reminded, if I could have this baby, I can do all things. So I'm super excited to be here. I'm so grateful for this community. You have all really empowered me. I hear all the time about how I inspire people and I push people, but you all inspire me so much. I pretty much live on Facebook to see all of your fabulous stories. So definitely keep them coming. And like I said, if I can do it, so can you. Thank you.
All right,